Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. We have with us Megan Cooper. She's a spokesperson for AAA, and we're talking travel. It's coming up here on Thanksgiving. Lots of people are going to be traveling. Lots and lots of people are going to be traveling. They're going to be driving, flying, whatever. And so we're walking through all of that. Some do's and don'ts, some best practices. What should you expect? And we should expect it's going to be busy. We should expect it's going to be expensive, and plan ahead. That's what I've gotten from the first part of the show.
Absolutely.
So now let's move into what you all do also is plan trips, right?
We do.
You don't just give all this information and help people on the road when they have a flat tire, which is so invaluable. You also plan trips. What about that part of it? What is it exactly you all do there?
Right. So all of our locations here in Tennessee have a travel team. So we have travel agents that can help members, whether it's a honeymoon or an anniversary trip or just family vacation, they're there to help you. So we have some of our more package trips where you can go on a tour with a lot of people, but they can also sit down with you and go through, here's my bucket list. And walk you through what's best for your family. So you can give them options or, just kind of see what's out there. We have a lot of travel books that you can look through. A lot of people might remember the triptychs that we used to give out. They used to be paper, they are digital now. So if you're taking a road trip, they can map out your trip for you, turn-by-turn directions. They can give advice on, what to do at a different location. And a lot of these travel agents may or may not have traveled to where you're going to. So they may have some, insider advice and advice from, even taking that trip before that they can walk you through.
I had thought the idea of travel agents had kind of gone away. Certainly there weren't as many travel agents. People can do it themselves, but it's very hard to do it yourself. And I bet people need travel agents now.
They do, and with the internet, it's made possible where people can, to some extent be their own travel agents. But I think the bonus and the benefit of having a travel agent is they can walk you through the process and they can help book things. They work in the travel industry day in and day out, so they know cancellation policies. They know, what the terms mean on, your hotel booking or your rental car booking. So they can kind of hold your hand and walk you through that. Whereas a regular person, we may not understand everything that we're looking at. And they also are privy to, they work with these travel partners every single day. So they may know of discounts or different ways of traveling or ways that you can save money that we just don't know about because we don't do that every single day.
So what does that cost? I mean, obviously it's a service that deserves to be paid. What are we talking about as far as cost?
It depends on your trip. It's a completely free service for members, so there's no cost to come in and talk to a travel agent. Of course, they will work with you. They can work within a budget. They can work with where you want to go. But again, they are those travel experts. And one thing that has become pretty popular in the pandemic is travel insurance. So especially if you are booking a bigger trip, if you're looking at a cruise or a big family vacation next year, they are the expert that can help you plan that trip, but they can help you protect that investment too with travel insurance. And that helps protect, if something happens, if somebody gets sick, if you can't take that trip, they can advocate for you. So you don't have to call and cancel reservations or figure out, what is refundable, what's not refundable. They can do that for you, which I think is invaluable when you're planning a trip.
We could talk a lot more probably about travel insurance. That's something that maybe people didn't do as much, but certainly during the pandemic, if you get sick and can't go, or with COVID, they're testing you and you test positive, even though you might not feel terrible and you want to go, they won't let you go. Travel insurance covers that. Is that right?
It can. There's a bunch of different policies, and again, that's where that expert comes in and is super helpful with explaining all of that. And what we're finding is that even throughout the pandemic, there are still people that aren't purchasing travel insurance. I think it comes down to the person and how risky and how risk averse they are. But for sure, if you're planning a large trip, if you're spending a lot of money, it's definitely worth your investment to purchase that travel insurance.
So what are you aware of as far as where people are going? Do the travel agents, do you have some sense of what people are looking at and what kind of trips? Is it cruises, or what are you getting a sense of as far as where people are going?
So cruises are very popular. We went through that time period of not being able to cruise.
Yeah.
And so now they are back in full force. So cruises are always popular. European vacations are also very popular. And then even here domestically, we're seeing kind of a shift in where people are wanting to go. So during the pandemic, we saw those trips where people were planning to more rural areas. They were going to national parks, more outdoorsy locations. And now that everything's opened back up, we're a little bit more comfortable. There's that shift back to large city destinations. Theme parks are very popular. People are more comfortable with being around other people. So Vegas, Chicago, New York, those are all, big destinations right now.
And all right, so how that works? So if you want to go somewhere, walk us through the whole process. You call up and somebody, you get someone, and do you have that person the whole time? Or I guess walk us through the whole process if you do want to go through this.
So you can call them, or you can come into the branch and talk to them in person. You tell them about your trip. You tell them what you want. They help you book that trip. A lot of times you do have the same agent throughout the whole process. So they will help you with booking that trip. They'll send reminders, and then you go on your trip. And they don't disappear. So they are there for the duration of your trip. If anything goes wrong, you can call them. They can help you, especially when you're traveling internationally. It's very helpful to have that person that understands the travel industry. They can help you out if something goes wrong or you need help with something. And then after that trip, of course, they can debrief with you, plan your next trip if that's what you're looking for. But they're there for the entire process. And they're really an advocate for travelers. They're used to not only booking travel, but travel is something that they love. So they really enjoy travel, and they love helping other people pick what's best for their family and really, take the trip of a lifetime or the best family trip that they can.
Do you think people know that about AAA, that is offered?
I don't think they do. A lot of times, people, of course, think of roadside assistance,
Right.
but it really goes much deeper than that. So I'm here to tell you, we do help with travel, and we have 10 locations. And even if you're not close to one of our locations, you can always give us a call and get connected to one of those agents to help you. Whether you're driving across the country or you want to go on your bucket list international trip.
All right, I'm looking through here. What else should we talk about? We have road trip maintenance. What about that? So a lot of us are going to drive. What about road trip maintenance?
So with road trips, of course, the majority of people traveling over the holidays are going to take a road trip. One of the biggest things we tell people is to make sure that car is ready to go with you. So if you can't remember when you got your last oil change, it's probably a good idea to get that done before you head out on your trip. So you want to make sure that your car is up to date on its maintenance. Take a look at things like your battery, your engine, and your tires, especially as we head towards winter weather. Some of the biggest calls that we get from members are battery-related issues, tire-related issues, and lockouts. So the reason we want you to make sure that vehicle is ready is so you can avoid some of those headaches along your trip, and just make sure that you're not lacking on some of that car maintenance. And then this time of year, really any time of year, we want you to have an emergency vehicle kit in your car. But now as we head towards colder weather, now's a great time to go ahead and put in those ice scrapers, some extra sets of warm clothes, maybe some de-icer. Go ahead and put it in your car now so you don't have to think about it. Don't wait until the winter storm hits to think about it, because I guarantee you probably will not be able to find those items in your local store.
You all do come and help. I mean, you all come and do the roadside assistance. So if there's something that goes wrong, a flat tire, a battery, you all come and help.
We do.
You mentioned locking out, the keys. I feel like I've had people in my family that have done that so much that maybe AAA said, you're doing this too much. I mean, that's a huge thing, but that's great you all do that. You come and open the car, people lock their keys inside.
And we'll even change your battery on the spot. If you need a new one, we can bring one out and change that out for you. There's a lot of benefit to being a member of AAA.
Now, what was that other graphic we had up there? That was the winter Was that what that was? Winter emergency kit. Okay, so let's go over that. What should people have as far as winter emergency?
So here in Tennessee, our winter is very mild compared to other parts of the country, but definitely keep things that make you very visible on the roadside. So triangles, anything that is reflective. This time of year it gets dark very, very early. So you want to be able to make sure that you are seen on the side of the road. Make sure you have a first aid kit, just in case something happens, and a basic toolkit. Anything that could help you diagnose and fix some of those simpler issues and get you back on the road a little bit faster. During the winter time, of course, ice scrapers, a battery charger or an extra battery backup for your phone. For a lot of us, our phone is our lifeline. And that's how you call for help. That's how you let people know, where you are. And then, of course, just keep some basic safety items in there. So have some non-perishable food items, some drinking water, things that would help make you comfortable if you are stuck at the roadside.
How many people do you think don't have a spare tire?
A lot of people probably, and we're finding in a lot of newer vehicles that they don't always come with the spare tire.
Oh, that's terrible.
So if you have a newer vehicle, maybe just look and see. And when we talk about checking our tires, that goes for the spare tire too. A lot of people don't even think when they're checking their tires to make sure that their spare tire is inflated. So go ahead and check that because you definitely want that spare tire to be absolutely how it needs to be because it's your spare tire. If your spare tire is low, it's not very helpful.
So if somebody's in trouble on the side of the road, they call you guys, they have their membership, they're ready. How long generally does it take? I'm sure it depends on how busy you are and that kind of thing, but how long do you hope to be able to get out there and be there with them and offer them assistance?
As quickly as possible. Of course, it depends on where you are. It depends on traffic and weather conditions, but we really do try to get there as quickly as we can. And one thing that if you call AAA by phone, one thing they're good about is making sure that the members are safe. So if you feel unsafe or you're not in a safe location, they can actually contact law enforcement and have them come out and help you while you're waiting just to make sure that you're safe. We also have our AAA mobile app, and that way you can kind of see where the driver is, what that ETA is, so you can better understand that wait time and where things are in the process.
Are there any roads or areas in Nashville that cause more problems than others? I don't know if you would track that, but are there areas where maybe they're hitting potholes and they're more flat tires or something like that in our area that we might be aware of?
Yeah, we don't track that, but I will say a lot of times, interstates can become a problem, especially with potholes during the spring. We have a lot of interstates in the state, so fender benders, a lot of times things happen in rush hour, and then again on rural roads, a lot of times, we either don't plan ahead or things just, they happen. Even the best well-maintained vehicle and the driver that plans ahead, things still happen. So it's hard to say, exactly where that's happening in the state, but we do know that it happens. But we just want drivers to be prepared and as much as they can, especially before road trips.
I'm looking over this list: winter emergency kit, jumper cables. Hopefully most people have jumper cables. First aid kit. I wonder how many people have that.
Probably not very many.
Yeah, they need to have that.
Yeah. And when you're looking at this kit, think about who you're traveling with as well. So if you regularly travel with pets, make sure that you have extra food, extra blankets for them. If you have children, make sure that you have snacks, extra formula, extra warm clothes for them. If you travel with other members of your family, just make sure that you have enough items for everyone that could be in the car.
I've totally been caught without an ice scraper. A lot of people probably don't have that. That's a really important thing to have if you encounter ice.
It is, and one thing I like to tell people is it's great if you have it in your glove box, but don't forget to have an extra outside your vehicle, especially if you don't have a garage. I've been in that situation where I have my ice scraper and it's the nice one with the brush on it, but it's in the car and the car is frozen shut. So just make sure that you have backups for a lot of these items. And the great thing about these kits is that it's pretty inexpensive to get all of these items. And a lot of times people already have them in their house. It's just a matter of gathering them together and moving them to the vehicle.
This is when you have your act together. When you have all of this, you're doing all right.
Yeah, that's ideal.
That's ideal. But yeah, a lot of times that doesn't happen, and that we can all probably point to a time when we didn't have what we needed, and that's not fun at all.
Right.
All right, well that's great stuff. Okay, so why don't we take a break, come back, continue our discussion. If you want to call in, there is the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break, be back right after this.